And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Joe McCord.
Thank you very much. Well, welcome to our first convention. I want to thank all of you for being here, many of you for being with us for the last many months since ribbon cutting took place. I know a few of you have probably not missed a single event. You've probably heard me speak more times than you really wanted to. Sometimes literally blinding you with science. Today I'm going to talk to not only those of you who have been to many events, but also to those of you for whom this may be the first event. What I would like eventually to teach all of you is the science that I think every distributor should know. This is a complicated product that you're selling, that you're representing, and the science behind it is complicated, and nobody knows that better than me. But it's also something I firmly believe you can get your arms around, and that I think every one of you can do justice to presenting this product, Protandim, for what it is scientifically. So I'm going to review all 7 of the publications upon which this science rests and upon which this product rests. When I came into this room this morning, while it was being set up, I looked up and I noticed these banners on your left. And there's a banner for every publication on Protandim, from the first one in 2006 to the 7th one earlier this year. I didn't know they were going to be there, but it's useful for me to have them because there are elements in each of those 7 publications that I would like for you eventually to have at your fingertips. I get many requests from distributors saying, I encountered, maybe it's a physician, maybe it's somebody who is knowledgeable in science, and I tried to tell them about Protandim, and they took a quick look at the science, and they said, well, this is all done in cells, or this is all done in mice. Well, I want you to know exactly what each paper was done in. Probably the most important paper was done in cells, in tissue culture, human cells, by the way. But one of the papers, the very first one, was a human clinical trial. It wasn't done in mice or rats or cells. It was done in living humans. Several of the other extremely important papers were done in animals, and I want you to know what the message is from each of those. I'm going to begin with kind of a review of what oxidative stress is, and we now know Protandim does more than just deal with oxidative stress to remedy that situation. It involves not just superoxide dismutase and catalase, the first 2 enzymes we focused on, but as I told you at Elite Academy last October, we now know that Protandim modulates more than 600 genes. In fact, at higher doses, not used in humans, as many as 4,000 genes can be affected out of a total of 25,000 genes that we have. This is not a minor little tweak. This is a major readjustment of everything that makes you who you are and what you are. So let's begin by looking at this question. What is oxidative stress? Where do oxidants and free radicals come from? And a question that, believe it or not, some people don't know the answer to. Why should we worry about oxidative stress? It happens to everybody as you get older. Maybe it's just a part of life that we can't do anything about. Well, this is the number of papers published in the peer-reviewed scientific literature since about 1960, when there were essentially zero. And in 1970, there were about 3 or 4, because superoxide dismutase had been discovered. And we began to talk about what is oxidative stress. It's now been 41 years since that discovery, and the total number of papers now available in the medical literature is more than 86,000. And you can see the growth rate of these papers, and that should be kind of reminiscent of what Carrie just showed you, because this company is taking a similar exponential growth pattern. And this is the science that underlies everything that we stand for and everything that this product was designed for. The bottom line here is that scientists do worry about oxidative stress. This is a big slice, a significant slice of the total scientific endeavors going on in this country and around the world. So this is not minimal. This is not something tucked away in one corner. This is mainstream. What is oxidative stress from a cellular point of view? Every cell in your body contains these little structures known as mitochondria. They're the engines that burn our food and create the energy that drives everything we are and everything that we do. It drives the thoughts that you think in your brain. It drives the muscles that enable you to walk and run. And in principle, the mitochondrion is not very different from the internal combustion engine that drives your automobile. It takes in food, in its case, gasoline. It takes in oxygen. It burns that fuel, and it produces energy in a useful form. One of the things that mitochondria have in common with internal combustion engines is that they are not 100% efficient. They're byproducts. Ideally, we'd like for all of that fuel to appear as water vapor and carbon dioxide, and in a perfectly designed engine, that would be the case. We haven't built a perfectly designed engine yet. Your car produces all kinds of byproducts, and your cells produce some of the very same byproducts. Specifically, one of them is this free radical, the superoxide radical. It's called superoxide because it's like oxygen, only it's super. Oxygen is what supports the combustion process. This is even more reactive than oxygen. It's really superoxygen. It's a very potent oxidizing species. It's toxic to cells. It's toxic to the parts of your car that produce it. Your cars have catalytic converters to deal with this toxic byproduct, and your cells also have catalytic converters. Those catalytic converters are called enzymes. They're called, in some cases, antioxidant enzymes, such as superoxide dismutase and catalase. They serve exactly the same function as catalytic converters on your automobiles.